Okay, so now it gets even more interesting because now we are dividing two decimal numbers. All right, so with this type of question, we have 4 steps we need to go through. So step one is write as fraction. So we want to put this into a fraction. So we'll do that. Okay. And the next step is multiply divisor, which is this one down here, by power of 10 until no more decimals. Now, if you remember, we know that whenever we multiply, what happens is we jump to the right? With division, we jump to the left. But multiplication, we jump right. So we have 1 0 here, so that means that we're going to jump once and we stop here, but this doesn't help us because it's still a decimal, so we need to try a more better number than the number 10. And to give you an idea, all you basically have to do is count the number of decimals. We have 2 decimals in here, so that means that we need 2 zeros when we multiply. So that number that's going to help us is 100. So now we got 2 zeros here. That means we jump twice to the right. So we're going to jump from the decimal point once and then again, and we're going to stop here. So now we don't have 0.11, now we have 11. Okay, so we're going to multiply this one down here by 100, and remember that step 3 says multiply top number by the same power of 10, which in this case is 100. So we're going to multiply it by the 100 for the top number. So let's rewrite this fraction now. So we've got 11 over 17204.88. And I guess I should explain that if we're timesing this top number by 100, we're jumping to the right twice. So we got one jump and another jump, and then now the decimal point is there. That's why I wrote this number like this, because I had to jump once and twice. So now step 4 is go ahead to normal division. So we'll just put this top number, the number that's being divided, we put that into the division sign, and the divisor goes on the outside. So now I'm not going to forget to put the decimal point above the decimal point, and now we go ahead with normal division. So we ask, how many times does 11 go into 1? It doesn't. How many times does, put a 0 there, how many times does 11 go into 17? It goes into 17 once, with the remainder of 6. So now we're asking, how many times does 11 go into 62? And we know that 11 times 5 is 55. So that means that 11 goes into 62 at least 5 times. 62 minus 55 is 7, so the remainder is 7, which goes next to the next place value. And now we're asking, how many times does 11 go into 70? 11 times 6 is 66, so 11 goes into 70 at least 6 times. 70 minus 66 is 4, so the remainder of 4 goes next to the next place value. Now we're asking, how many times does 11 go into 44? And we know 11 times 4 is 44, so 11 goes into 44 4 times. Now we're asking, how many times does 11 go into 8? It doesn't, so we put a 0 there. And now we're asking, how many times does 11 go into 88? And we know that 11 times 8 is 88, so 11 goes into 88 8 times. So our final answer is 1564.08. Okay, so let's do one more, and feel free to go ahead and try and solve this before I do. So step 1 is write as fraction, so we'll do that. So 0.5148 over 0.12. Step 2, multiply divisor by power of 10 until no more decimals. So we want to get rid of these decimals. We have 2 decimals, so we need to times the bottom number by 100, because these 2 zeros are going to get rid of these 2 decimals. And then whatever we do to the bottom one, we do to the top as well. So now we can rewrite this question as follows. Just before I do, I'll just demonstrate what we're doing here. So we're multiplying by 100. First number starts with 1. We've got zeros for the rest of them. When we multiply, we jump right. So we jump once and twice, so decimal point will be there. And we're going to jump once and twice, so decimal point will be here. So we'll just rewrite this fraction as follows. Okay, so step 3 is multiply top number by same number by same power of 10, which we've done. We've done that, and now we can go ahead to normal division. So we put the number that's being divided into the division symbol and the divisor outside. Okay, so now we're asking how many times does 12 go into 5? It doesn't. How many times does 12 go into 51? Well, 12 goes into 51 at least 4 times, because 12 times 4 is 48, and that leaves us with the remainder of 3, because 51 minus 48 is 3, and I forgot to put the decimal point again. Alright, so next question is how many times does 12 go into 30? We know that 12 goes into 30 at least twice, because 12 times 2 is 24. So 30 minus 24 is 6, so the remainder is 6, which goes next to the next place value. So now we're asking how many times does 12 go into 64? Well, 12 times 5 is 60, so 12 goes into 64 at least 5 times. 64 minus 60 is 4, so we have a remainder of 4, which goes next to the next place value. And now we're asking how many times does 12 go into 48, and we should know that 12 goes into 48 4 times exactly, so there's no remainder. So our final answer to this question is 4.254.